Mic check, 1, 2. Mic check, 1, 2, 3, 4. I've got chat feed live on Steam and TikTok. Testing, testing, 1, 2, 3. Like everything's live. It looks like it's working, so I'm gonna go for it. Welcome back, one and all. My name is Mac. I am the community manager for Dungeon Alchemist. Dungeon Alchemist is the lovely map maker you see in front of you. It is a tool available on Steam that allows you to build maps for your tabletop games, primarily in the fantasy setting, so D&D, Pathfinder, etc. Dungeon Alchemist has a free demo available on Steam that allows you to kind of try before you buy, see what it's like as a map maker, get a feel for it, and see how it runs on your system. Additionally, Dungeon Alchemist is currently on sale during the Steam Winter Sale. It's an absolute honor to participate in the Steam Winter Sale. And currently, we are 20% off, so one of the best deals you can get on Dungeon Alchemist. I just want to thank everyone for being here. I am not sure if my mic is coming through. I haven't gotten a confirmation yet from anyone, so I'm a little concerned, but we'll wing it and things will be fine. Hey, USMC Ninja. Hello, hello. How are you? Hey, Atlam. Good to know. Good to know. Thank you. How are you doing, my friend? So, how was everyone's weekend? Did everyone have a good weekend? Did you do anything interesting? Did you get any gameplay in? Tabletop gameplay? Dungeon Alchemist looking good. Thank you, Nubra. Appreciate it. Oh, you've been on vacation for 2 weeks? That's awesome, USMC Ninja. I'm jealous. I'm jealous, actually, quite a bit. So right now, we're working on an ancient cemetery. I've been working on this once a week for about roughly a half hour to an hour a week, each Mapmaker Monday. So every Monday, we host a stream called Mapmaker Monday. It's a multi-stream across all our major social and stream platforms. We're live right now on Twitch, Twitter, TikTok, Facebook, YouTube, Steam, etc. My name is Mac. I am the community manager for Dungeon Alchemist. But basically, during these streams, we showcase how to build in Dungeon Alchemist. We answer questions in real time, and we provide support and listen to your feedback and suggestions. So if you have any support needs, or you're just kind of curious on how to use Dungeon Alchemist and how to build in it, these streams are a great thing to tune into, a great resource for that purpose. You can learn quite a bit in a short amount of time, and it's a great place to just hang out with like-minded GMs. Oh, sure, Nubra, lots been added in the last year. So, I mean, first and foremost, one of the largest things we added in the last year, let me just show you, is the ability to generate round and diagonal rooms. So you can, lay out a floor plan and then pull the floor plan inward and make it into a circle. That floor plan can then be raised and lowered into the ground, raised up, so it's like on a big, kind of mountainous platform. You can move the floor plan around before you generate it. You can undo all these steps. One thing I also want to point out is you can do diagonal cuts. You can do convex and concave cuts, and diagonal cuts into things. So you have all sorts of new ability to shape a room. You can also rotate the room before you generate it, all sorts of stuff. So that's kind of a big addition. Here, let's generate a round room really quick. Another thing that's relatively new, I would say, that has been, within the last year and a half, is the asset importer. So we allow you to import 3D models into Dungeon Alchemist to use, in your own local build, or you can share the asset on the workshop. So we have maps on the workshop. There's over 10,000 maps shared by our community, but there's over 7,000 3D models shared by our community. Those 3D models really help assist with, expanding the ability of what you can do with Dungeon Alchemist. In fact, people comfortably do like sci-fi, apocalypse, like Fallout and other things as well now because those assets are available. So Ninja, what you been doing on your vacation? Let's hear about it. Here, let's generate this. Nubra, thank you for the follow. Much appreciated. Right? I mean, honestly, there has been so many amazing contributions from our community, both maps and assets. But yeah, big shout out to anyone who has contributed a map or a 3D model. I know a lot of work goes into the 3D models in particular when you're making them from scratch. Some of them are models that are repurposed, found on like a third-party site and then put here, not necessarily made by the person who shared them, but many of them are made by the person who shared them from scratch. So a lot of effort goes into these 3D models. Hey, no worries to you, Nuber. Happy holidays. Thank you for being here. Thank you for the follow. We'll catch you next time. Maybe a like and a share before you go. We can try and get some other faces in here. Thank you, thank you. So, did anyone get any gameplay in this weekend? I'm kind of like shocked no one did, but I guess with the holiday, it does make it kind of, with like all the holiday stuff going on, it makes it tricky. People could be traveling, hosting family, Oh, thank you, Mondu. I appreciate that. Honestly, I'm kind of feeling sick, so I appreciate that. I've been under the weather the last couple of days. Oh man, these are amazing, these basalt rock formations. So near where I grew up, there's a huge basalt column right off the freeway. You could just see it plain as day, and I always thought it was so cool and otherworldly. And then my dad one time took me up on the rock faces. We took his, he had a Toyota, 4x4, like a really, old, one of the original, 80s Toyota pickups or whatever. And we drove up there and hung out, had lunch and stuff, and it was just really cool. I'm actually feeling much better today. I think it's just, I've been getting no sleep, and that's been really affecting me. My sleep schedule's been all over the place. So I end up kind of just getting micro naps. And I am just, between the lack of sleep and, whatever's been affecting me and my sciatica flaring up in my leg at night, it's been really hard to sleep. It is so important. And when you don't get enough of it, it starts affecting you quite rapidly. But I did get a good amount, yesterday. I'm kind of catching up, but I also kind of woke up, at midnight and was up for 2.5 hours, and then woke up at 5 and was up, for an hour and a half, and it's I'm trying to get a solid night's sleep, and it's been really hard, so. And I'm sorry for just ranting on about that. I'm actually okay at the moment. I feel like I got a good amount of rest yesterday, but at the same time, it's just if I'm a little silly, that's why. Southern Idaho, is absolutely full of basalt fields. Nice. That sounds really cool. I grew up in southern Utah. If you're familiar with like Zion and like Snow Canyon and like any of those places, Pine Valley, any of those national parks, I basically grew up smack dab in the middle of them. It's really pretty out there. But it was pretty cool because we could just basically go, you know, to a national park or a state park really quickly and have fun. There's so many of them out there. Just tons. Like something like half of Utah or a third of the Utah is like state-based land, or it's like federal and state land. So there's just tons of like parks. Okay, so this next part of this cemetery is going to be tricky. I'm trying to figure out how to address it. Oh, they do that all the time in Zion. Oh my goodness. So I rolled one of my cars once because of deer doing that. So I lived in a tiny little town just on the way to Zion for a while. It's called Lavurkin. It's a tiny little town, right? And anyway, Lavurkin is basically at the mouth of Zion. You have to pass through it if you're going to Zion from one direction. And this little town, it took me like 45 minutes to get to work every day from there to go to the nearest, you know, kind of city, St. George. Hey, Cammy. You know, it might be worth mentioning to you. First off, welcome to the stream. My name is Mac. I'm the community manager for Dungeon Alchemist. So if you have any questions, feel free to ask. I would like to let you know, though, we do offer a free demo on Steam. So you can kind of try out Dungeon Alchemist for free and see how it runs on your system. It's a modest demo. It's only about 7 gigs. And it lets you try one of our biomes, the forest biome, and you can build one room type, a tavern, and you can kind of fill it with tavern-themed objects. So it gives you like a small slice of the overall pie, but it's a good way to kind of test it out and see how it runs on your computer. Additionally, I would like to point out we're on sale right now for 20% off on Steam. So if you're looking to get it, it may be one of the better times to check it out and buy it. But right now, for anyone tuning in, we're building a cemetery, and I'm trying to figure out how to approach this next area. These graves are all like martyrs of this cathedral, this clergy here. So whatever deity they serve, it's like clerics and paladins and old priests and, you know, nuns and whatever. So that's what's kind of over here, is this is their kind of plot. I may leave some space that's kind of dedicated or with nothing, maybe just garden. But I have done a lot of garden already, like this beautiful kind of pathed garden all the way around this massive cathedral. So I'm kind of hoping to do more graves. Future saints, exactly, Bane. Reserved for future saints. We made a pond last time just for you, Mondu. Look at the pizza pond. It's even got turtles. Remember, we even gave it a crust. So, I do... Well, one thing, Cammy, first off, I mean, Dungeon Alchemist isn't really a game. It's more of a map-making tool and an immersion utility. Now, pathing, we have freehand pathing, and we offer structured pathing. A lot of times when you're making maps in Dungeon Alchemist, the intention is to make it for, like, a D&D game, right? Or a Pathfinder game. Mostly, likely, a tabletop setting. And usually those are gridded to some degree, whether it's a hex or a square grid. I actually built this entire map at an angle to the grid because I wanted to do something different. So I freehanded this road here, and then kind of like this path and all this like parking area. I rotated this building to be off grid, so you could see it's definitely like it's not parallel to the grid, it's perpendicular to the grid right now. It's doing some funky stuff, and that was done by hand. Now, if you want to make like an actual road, there's several approaches. The first is using terrain tools. So you can take and use like our brushes that you can resize, right? And you can kind of strengthen them, and you can use this to flatten out terrain. Notice how it's kind of getting flat as I'm going through there. Let me zoom in a little bit more, disable that grid so it's not so. But you can see here I'm flattening out this space so it's like kind of all uniform. I can undo that with an undo key. I have paints for the terrain, so I can actually say go over it with like a stone. And you could go over it with like several layers of stone. I like to do that so it kind of has some layering like in the cracks as the stone under the stone. But it is possible to do, I mean, like free-handed paths. And I'm just going to undo that because I really wasn't intending to do that. Another thing you can do, so I'm going to undo all this work because I don't really want this to be that at the end of the day. You have a tool. Oh, by the way, that same tool can do like dirt paths, you know, grass paths, etc. You can also paint rivers and ponds. As you can see, there's lava, muddy water, blood, acid, all sorts of stuff. We have, besides our terrain tool, actually like a room drawing tool. And this is a great tip for everyone watching right now. You can actually use this to draw rooms. So under village, there is a room type called alley. Alleys are what? They're roads, right? They're roads going into sections between buildings, typically, like behind a building or between two buildings, right? Or a series of buildings. So an alley, though, if you go through the alley setup through the room generation, click the AI settings for room generation, and you disable objects and walls, now we just get a floor, okay? So what I'm going to do, just going to draw this, like freehand it, and then I'm going to rotate it. Put that there. Now let's say I wanted this to have like a bend on it, curve this way. So I could have the road go other directions. Kind of, you know, zigzag through areas. Hey, Face Chase, thank you for the follow. Much appreciated, much appreciated. So I could generate this. And now, because it's an alley, alleys are pretty much all roads. Oops, I kind of undid some of my plants there. It's okay. And I could regenerate it over and over again, and it'll change out the stonework, but it'll always be some type of road, like a cobble or a flagstone. Big Sigh, you know, that's a really good question, and I appreciate you asking it. So Big Sigh on Steam asks, can you start adding sci-fi stuff so I can make some Wrath and Glory maps, please? So I'll be honest with you, Big Sigh, at this point, Dungeon Alchemist is in early access, and Dungeon Alchemist started as a Kickstarter, and that Kickstarter is based on a series of goals called stretch goals that were all funded, and each of those stretch goals is essentially a mark on our roadmap, another update, okay? So we have a series of planned updates that are all part of our roadmap, which anyone at any time can check out our roadmap. We could share the link pretty much anywhere but TikTok right now. But if you pop onto our website, you can find our roadmap information there, or if you pop into our Discord or any of our other streams, we can drop you a link. Anyway, moving on. We have 5 major updates remaining. One of them, the next one, is coming out in the next, 3 to 4 months tops. Q1 2025 is what we're looking at. It's called Fun with Objects. That update will support multi-level, meaning you can generate multi-level structures with the room tool very simply. Oh, Cammy, thank you for that follow. Much appreciated. Much appreciated. Um, and and you'll be able to, do all sorts of new things with the quality of life improvements and features that we're adding. Now, back to the sci-fi thing. I want to point out that we will eventually leave early access after we've delivered on all our stretch goal updates. At that point, we may, offer optional updates that include a certain aesthetic, cyberpunk, sci-fi, etc. Until then, what I can recommend for you, my friend, is to check out under the Steam Workshop tab. It says Browse Assets. There's over 7,400 assets. We're rapidly approaching 7,500. And in this tool, you can search sci-fi, for instance, and it'll find hundreds of things that are labeled as sci-fi, but there's 11 pages worth, 500 objects just labeled with sci-fi. There's probably hundreds more that aren't. So you can actually go through and download custom objects that are sci-fi themed and make maps in that aesthetic. And just to prove to you that it's possible, you can look on the workshop, and there's hundreds of sci-fi maps now. There's a creator in our community named Zentic, who has been making tons of sci-fi maps, really interesting ones. There is, here we have Iron Mitchie, Reaper of Diem. These people have been making sci-fi maps quite prolifically because they download assets from the workshop and then they build it by hand. So if you want to dive into sci-fi now, it's quite possible. I would recommend downloading a few of these maps, because once you download them, it triggers these assets to download too, so you get a head start on like sci-fi assets. Additionally, in the asset browser, as we were looking at earlier, there's collections of assets that our community has put together to save you time and download a bunch of themes assets at once. So there's a bunch of sci-fi ones. You could download these packs. You'll have hundreds of sci-fi assets to jumpstart your collection. The only other thing I can add to this that's a pro tip is you can actually import custom assets as well. That's how they're getting added to the workshop, is through this asset importer. You can click this tab. You can import 3D models that are STL, FBX, or GLTF/GLB files. That allows you to customize your map making experience and really, really cater it to your table's needs, especially if you have the ability to sculpt or, CAD models out yourself. Otherwise, if you can source them online, or if you've bought them in packs, from Humble Bundle or Patreons or whatever, you can then import them and use them for your local collection. Shlomo, it would be through, like some sort of 3D sculpting program, 3D modeling program. There's several that are free. One that I can recommend that's a great tool for beginners is called Tinkercad. It's a web-based tool, and you can make basic 3D models with it. But I will say most people grow out of it pretty quick, and then they end up moving on to other things. So Blender is a great tool. It has very, very a ton of stuff you can do within it. So I recommend checking out, some of those things and going from there. Okay, so I'm thinking maybe another statue here adjacent. Gardens, hedges, something like this on the other sides of this fence, flowers. Because I really want to break this off and not have a path here. If I do have a path, it'll probably just go to like here and end, because it'll be just some graves along this, graves along here. Really trying to figure out how to... This is very true, Bane. Basically, if you don't own the asset and you cannot properly assure that that asset is allowed to be shared as a Creative Commons asset, then you shouldn't be, sharing it on the workshop. If you created the asset, you obviously have the rights to it as the creator and can choose to share it. If an asset is on a third-party website where the intention is to be shared for personal use, not for profit, they'll typically mention that, hey, you can share this asset as long as you credit me, the author, the creator, under this Creative Commons license. They'll usually mention it in their, you know, their thing, or the website will have a tag for it. If otherwise, if it doesn't say something about that, I probably wouldn't recommend sharing it. Tinkercad is amazing. Honestly, I've been using it for years, and it's a great tool to just whip up simple shapes and designs. I have printed more things than I can count, honestly, that I just whipped up in Tinkercad. I mainly use it so I can design 3D print designs and then throw them on the printer. Very nice tool. Okay, okay, so what I'm thinking, because we need a path going this way, right? And I'm going to do a path going this way. So what we'll do is we'll probably, yeah, that's perfect. Cut that out, right? Then we can just kind of put like a couple of these little bollards. There. Then we can grab the stones we've been using as pavers. I'm sorry, what? Cartographo? Photoshop can be used for the challenges? What do you mean? For the dam challenge? I mean, you can use Photoshop to fill in like the art spaces on the wall and stuff. But you do have to make the map in Dungeon Alchemist for the dam challenges, if that's what you're talking about. You know what? I could turn on this grid there and at least kind of have some area to follow. Oh, I know. The new painting tool is going to be amazing. How are you, Remy? What you been up to? Hope you're well. Honestly, I don't mind this, like, aesthetic of putting them down, like, one at a time. Just shift, you know, replicating. I'm not above it. It's kind of a fun, like, cathartic experience for me. I don't know why. I'm just, like, into that. But I understand why others don't like it. Not necessarily, you know, a fluid, game-changing workflow. Yeah, that's fine. That's totally fine. There's nothing against it. What's up, David? I am ready for the holidays. You know, so by the way, speaking of which, the next 2 office hours streams are not happening. They are pulled from the schedule. They fall on Christmas Eve and like New Year's, so not doing those. Or one's Christmas Day and one's New Year's Day, so we're not having those. I am not working those days. I will be out of the office. So I would say yes and no, David, in the new update, but it would only be if you're generating hallways with the room tool, not actual like hard rock caves. Not yet, at least. Not like actual like caverns and, you know what I mean? It would be like carved out and structured. Honestly, it's funny because the whole company is out of office right now. They're completely like, Europe has it right. They give their people breaks and stuff. And Wim told me I could take a bunch of time off if I wanted to, but the thing is I took, you know, a couple weeks off like 6 months ago or something, and so I don't really feel like I need to take another couple weeks off. That, and I want to kind of just have one of us around, kind of just, you know, answering questions during the sale, being available, streaming still, you know, stuff like that. But I will take a couple days, you know, personal days. Hey, Fozzie, how you doing? But we have a friend coming over to hang out with us on Christmas Eve. A longtime family friend that we haven't seen lately, and it'll be nice to hang out with him. And excited for that because we just don't get to host often very much anymore. And yeah, anyway, be nice to have people over. We planned out a really yummy dinner. I'm excited for it. We're gonna have filet mignon and mashed potatoes, and let's see here, what else we're gonna have? Brazilian cheese balls, like cheese puffs or whatever they're called, and then some tempura green beans, and yeah, it's gonna be yummy. Let's just say that it's gonna be delish. So, Shlomo, I mean, you could generate the cave's tunneling using the room tools, and it'll carve it all out. It's a great way to do it. You could use either this or the terrain tools. It really depends on how you want it. Do you want the dungeon to have, like, walls? Crypt walls and, stone walls? Or do you want it to be just cave walls, like rock walls? Is that how they're pronounced? All I know is there's Brazilian grills like all over, Nevada and southern Utah, where you can go in and it's just like they bring meat after meat after meat, different styles of meat and the way it's cooked. So sorry for, vegans, vegetarians, but it is essentially they just here, bring this thing to your table. Oh, do you want some of this pork? Oh, do you want some of this steak? Oh, do you want some of this chicken? They cut off a piece, put it on your plate, give you some, and then they also bring grilled pineapple and then those cheese puffs around. USMC Ninja, they're good. So there's there's a company that sells a freezer pack version of them. Just gonna throw this out there. You can make them at home. There's recipes for it, but if you don't really want to put in the effort, Kroger and Smith sells it. I don't know if Walmart or anyone else sells it, but it's called Brazzi Bites. So it's like Brazil without the L, and then bites, and they're like the cheese balls, and you just throw them in an air fryer or an oven. And they're good. Good. How do you participate in the challenge? Good question. So to participate in the damn challenge, very simply put, you make a map of any shape or size using Frozen as inspiration, right? That map, you then submit it in our Discord to the Damn Challenge channel. There's a channel in our Discord labeled Damn Challenge, right? And in there, pinned at the top of the channel, are some rules, which you need to follow the rules to qualify, right? Additionally, your map needs to be submitted before the deadline, which the current deadline is the end of day in your time zone on the 27th. So you have between now and 11:59 p.m. in your time zone to submit a map to the Damn Challenge channel in our Discord. Just realized I wanted this over right there, so I'm gonna have to move all of these. Should have done it from top down. I hate myself now. Anyway, so if you're interested in participating in the Damn Challenge, that's the kind of basic info. The winner of the Damn Challenge gets a $10 Hero Forge gift card. Their map is featured as the first map on our Damn Challenge stream and is placed in our weekly newsletter, and also in a collection of maps called the Damn Challenge Collection on Steam. So essentially, this one is a previous winner, The Night Market by Rev. You can see it here, check it out. It gets a lot of eyes and downloads between the listing in the Cartomancer Chronicles, our newsletter, and being showcased on the stream as the first map. Additionally, during that stream, we showcase all the other entries, so if you're interested in submitting a map, please do so before you run out of time. I really love seeing all the entries that are being submitted. There's some really cool ones with using Frozen theme. Oh, the night market was great. Yeah, of course, Frau your Frau. If you have an old map that'll work, go ahead and use it. No need of doing a ton of extra work if you don't need to. Yeah, sorry I'm so awkward. You don't need the exclamation for my commands. I did that because I wanted anytime someone typed it, it would come up native, like on its own, so it would save you as mods the trouble sometimes. So sometimes if someone just types, "Hey, do you have a Discord?" it'll be like bloop, you know. Okay, so part of me is feeling like I should connect this, but then it's just gonna look weird. I need advice. I need advice, stream. Yes, there. Okay, so Alexander on TikTok asks, is there a way to put on roofs and upper stories? So yes, there is currently, but only by hand. So our next update will add like roofs and multi-level within the room tool, so it'll really streamline it and make it simple. But currently, any multi-level structures need to be done using objects from the object menu. So like here we have freestanding walls. This is every single wall type, but as a object instead of in the wall menu. So freestanding walls don't need to be attached to floors. They can rotate. If you have collisions disabled, they can be resized insanely high, proportions and really low proportions. Additionally, you can raise them up and down. So what I like to do is find where it'll snap into place and then kind of drop it. And then I just start copying them. Does that make sense? Or you know it. That's a weird snapping point. But anyway, you would have yourself that could be an oversized wall too. Yep, that's what it was. I knew I had something wrong there. But basically, you could start adding a second floor. And I'm sorry, my building is like perpendicular to the grid, so it's trying to snap all over the place. It's fighting with me a little bit. But that would be a good way to add a second floor. Now, you could add walls going up, vault the ceiling if you want like a flooring. You have stone platforms, stuff like this, that you could essentially snap into place in a corner. And there's different variations. I'm just showing you something simple. Raise it up, and then you have a floor. There are literally hundreds of examples of multi-level buildings in our workshop, and some have roofs, some don't. You can download roofing from the workshop as well. There's hundreds of just roofs that are really simple, wood roofs, simple lattice, stuff like that you could just snap onto existing structures and call it a day. Some are more advanced, like conical roofs, round roofs. Some are different in style. These are kind of a stopgap, or like a band-aid until we have our roofing integration in our next update. And Q1 is when we're hoping to launch this next update. So roofing, multi-level, stuff like that is very soon. Now, that being said, I wouldn't say the second it's Q1 start asking when, because that'll get annoying really fast. We'll get there when we get there. Right, Realm Walker, it is going to be awesome. Sketch, actually, a lot of our stuff actually is suitable for Eberron already. We're primarily the fantasy aesthetic, right? But we do lean into some like steampunk stuff. We have a whole lot of stuff that looks great in the steampunk aesthetic. In fact, I've seen some really brilliantly made Eberron style maps. But you can kind of fill the gaps with stuff from the workshop or the asset importer by importing your own custom stuff. So here is a multi-level structure, and it's very early alpha stuff. Honestly, I'm going to make a command soon because I know like every week or every day we're going to get asked like 5 times a day when the update is very soon. And I know the mods are going to get like go a little crazy with it. They can only handle so much. But yeah, Sketch, let me show you something really quick. We have these like all sorts of like neat magical items and items that would be considered like engineering, right? We have a whole series of like artificer gear, like this portal here. This would very much suit an Eberron setting. You know what I mean? You could change the innards to be all sorts of different things. We have like hundreds of objects that would fit that aesthetic quite well, and then hundreds more on the workshop. I honestly, it's kind of hard to say everything we have, but there is quite a lot. If we go into structural, we have pipes, you know, all sorts of weird pipes for industrial type settings or kind of steampunk settings. We have railways, so you can do, you know, mines, but also railroads. So it's really easy to lean into like a pre-industrial, you know, steampunk, early Western aesthetic with many of the assets we offer. Oh, where's the drill? The drill is one of my favorites. This is oh man, this thing is massive. But this is one of my favorite examples of like one of our neat kind of steampunk assets. We get a little bit into dwarf punk, you know what I mean? We do have some cranes, but they're more like mechanical. This thing here, you can even open it up and look inside, and it's got like a hatch that you can open. You can adjust the lighting, change it to like red or blue. Here, let's change both of them. Anyway, we have quite a bit that kind of gets into that aesthetic quite quick. So I definitely wouldn't discount us as something that couldn't be used in that way. Oh, here's some more engineering stuff, some vats. Oh, these like big fans and gears and... Oh, this one, the launching apparatus. There's one with like stuff on it. There's one without. And then our community shares all sorts of cool stuff on the workshop to really help supplement this. This elevator engine. We do have quite a bit. A doomsday device! I mean, these could work in a Warhammer setting. They could work in an Eberron setting. They could work in, you know what I mean? A variety of different homebrew settings. Moving on. Hey, Sketch, also, you may want to check out our demo. The demo's just a small slice of the overall pie, but it's free. Gives you access to our forest biome, and you can build a tavern, but it's, you know, kind of fantasy aesthetic, mainly limited in the biome access of assets. But the full version of Dungeon Alchemist is on sale. We're actually participating in the Steam Winter Sale. It's 20% off. And not only do you get access to, you know, all of the stock assets that I've shown you, there's hundreds of thousands of them that could kind of fit your aesthetic, but also you get access to the Steam Workshop maps and assets, many of which, you know, people put significant amount of work and time, and some may fit your needs right away, so you can just download it and you're good to go. Same with the 3D models. So if you're looking for, you know, more steampunk stuff, or maybe you want an airship, right? Oh, I did not mean to caps that, but yeah, here is a dirigible, a couple, you know, sky ships, some different stuff. Anyway, I will say this: We will be primarily the fantasy aesthetic until we leave early access. And once we leave early access, at that point, we'll begin offering optional expansions that dive into different aesthetics. So the devs have talked about like sci-fi or cyberpunk, and it'll be a very traditional approach to add-on content, mainly because we never planned to do those things. It was just mostly requested by our community. So we'll finish out our, early access run, go to full access. All of those updates will be free for anyone who owns a copy of Dungeon Alchemist. Quality of life improvements, feature improvements, stuff like that will still be free after that, and even minor updates that will be add-ons to the existing core Dungeon Alchemist content. But expansions that go above and beyond anything we ever planned, that offers, say, cyberpunk or sci-fi or completely different aesthetics, that would be an optional expansion, an add-on that would be available for a nominal fee. And essentially, maybe, I'm guessing, just throw in a number out there, let's say $20 to $30, and it adds on, dozens of new room types, thousands of new objects, doors, windows, walls, floors, etc., several new biomes, all in that aesthetic, so cyberpunk or sci-fi, etc. Anyway, so just letting you know, between what we have, though, available, the option to import custom assets, browse the community assets, and the stock stuff, though, you could make some pretty decent Eberron maps. Okay, keeping building. It is coming along, Eric. Thank you. It is getting there. I haven't done much work today because I've done a lot of talking. There's a lot of interest in Dungeon Alchemist, in the sale, and, questions about, people are wanting various support, and have questions on how to build things. So I get distracted, which I definitely don't mind. I'm all about answering y'all's questions and making sure you understand DA. Eric is a GM, a professional GM, who is hosting a campaign for myself and my friends, and he also streams here on Twitch. Streams his campaigns, quite fun content. You should check him out. But he uses Dungeon Alchemist quite a bit for his content. So I'm thinking I'm gonna put some more mausoleums. Yeah, this started drifting really hard. I'm noticing that in the top down. Let's fix that. Thank you for the likes, TikTok. Much appreciated. We're almost to 500 likes. Thank you so much. Man, I wish we had a nudge tool so bad right now. Someday, TM. You know what? I will bring it up next time I can. Milo, how you doing? Oh, I see. He's in the hedge. That's how he did it. How did Mac from a few days ago do this? I just, at this late in the game, it might be hard to get them to consider a new add-on feature, but I'll bring it up. Oh, that's awesome, Eric. Yeah, Steven was telling me he was interested in participating. I just don't know if he was going to do it at the end of the day. These round ones here, this is just like a pillar that I sank into the ground. Yeah, just getting crafty. And then this one is from the workshop, for sure. These ones are. It's called Stone Path. One word. Oh, nice. Milo, nice. Yeah, they can help a lot. They go a long way to really supplement what is possible with Dungeon Alchemist at any given point. You know what I mean? Okay, so I'm thinking we'll do a few sections of fencing like this, right? So we can have some little baby mausoleums, and we might even leave some just like empty plots. So it's like there's nothing there, right? Like nothing here, maybe nothing here. So they're ready for, you know, future martyrs. So people were pointing out, man, there's a lot of graves for the martyrs here. And I'm like, well, I mean, paladins and clerics out servicing their deity, you know, so accidents happen. TPKs happen, you know what I mean? And then you have, additionally, things like, you know, those that serve the clergy in other, or this deity in other ways, like priests and, you know, nuns and monks and whatever. Oh, Eric, that is that's a top tier dad joke right there. You made me shrug so hard. Isn't that like a Vincent Price joke? I feel like it is. They're dying to get in. I do believe it's a Vincent Price joke. I'm not 100%, but it does remind me of one. I think I want to have one on this side, and then I'm going to leave it like emptier, like more empty. Does that make sense? Oh my goodness. Yeah, we could put some brick or something there. That could look good. Good idea, Mondu. Like, oh, there's that other stone block. Where is that? It is under masonry, maybe? What am I looking for? No, it's under the, like, abandoned broken ruins, if I'm not mistaken. We can just put some of these there, and it kind of just looks like a pile of stonework. These, right? I think you're confusing martyr and mortar. There's no colliders on these bad boys. Okay, looking real good. If it's, you know, like a foot off the ground. Some random stone pile there. Martyr and pestle. I do feel like that would be an interesting name for a kind of like modern day like oddity shop. So Eric, did you stream today, dude? So I think that's some good stonework there, and I'm probably gonna just put like a bag or something here, like a sack, and it could look like, you know, some kind of, could be like mortar or something. I don't know. Maybe even some tools. Martyr and pistol. Oh, nice, Eric. Nice. If I have time, I'll try and tune in. The next few days are going to be a little rough for me. Half Ogre, what up? How are you, my friend? Should I put a sign that's like your grave here? Something like that. Okay, let's start decorating this. Let's do something with this. Let's do some plants. Plant. Hmm. Do some Annabellas. Shrink them down a little bit. We'll rotate them and kind of tuck them in together, each one. Vacant. That's a good idea, BB. Also remembered something else I have to do. I needed to fill in these. I mean, Eric, we're excited for our campaign, our next date on, you know, whatever, the 12th, right? Everyone's pretty hyped. So we probably could have done earlier, but I think it's a good idea not to cram too much in too soon. What I'm thinking, I could probably add another row of these here, like this way, because then you could just walk down the aisle of them. Keep this path going. Keep this path going. Keep this path going, cause we gotta get to this mausoleum. Bring this forward. Done. Win. I can put a tree or something behind that. And I need to put one more grave site here. decide what grave to put there. I got, like, this one could go there. Booms. I'm gonna do a series of columbarium right here. I ought to pull out this corner a little bit. I can do some path going off this way. And I sync them together like this, where the pillars overlap, so it just really gives you a lot more room. You can even do it up to there. Yeah. Good. Oh, that'll close it off. Too tight. Okay. Yeah, it's kind of a weird dead space, and this works. I really like this, actually. Good idea. Now let's just kind of make sure these stones work, though. These can start like kind of there. Then it'll slowly curve into this. Center's off. Yeah, that's better. It's a little too drastic before. Not gonna lie, sometimes placing this this piece with the green circle on it is a little, I don't know, it's like it messes with your head a little bit. I have to get in like a certain zoom distance. Okay. We've now got a couple columbarium sections. Probably put like a statue here or something. There's that lion one. Like that one. Shrink it down just a little bit. Looks pretty good. Yeah, true. At least I've kind of got a path and like a plan for this other area too. Trying to decide what to do with these pizza spaces, and if you say pond, I'm gonna scream. Don't say pond. Just kidding. By the way, David, there's like a board, like a message board or something like this that's perfect for putting wanted posters on. There's this one, and this other one can be mounted on a wall, and they both have like customizable spots where you can insert images. So you could put your characters like in there as a wanted poster. It's really fun. Mondu bonks himself. So I do have a planned area, Frau, for Coco, for the caretaker, right? So this area is going to be the caretaker's cottage and his like property. There'll be a garden and like a big kind of like shed with like a fenced off area with like like wagons and shovels and all sorts of tools and stuff like that. Ceramic pots, little things for just like managing everything, right? So he'll have like a whole area over here with all his tools and whatnot. I do, though, want to make a road going this way towards his home, which it'll be connected to over here. This will be kind of his own private property. At some point, I do need to make the road going this way. Ooh, you just reminded me I haven't saved. Ooh, let's do that again. Always be saving. So I think I could do some graves on this side for a bit, right? Maybe like a statue here. But yeah, we could do some benches and sitting area here. That could work. Just trying to figure out how to do it. There is an autosave already, Eric. This is why you gotta ask me questions. That's the whole point of coming to these streams, because people can learn so much in such a short amount of time. I am using it, yes. So if you go to... Let me show you how to activate autosave. There's two requirements to activate autosave. First, you got to enable it, okay? So you go to File, Settings, and then you click Autosave. Set your autosave interval. 1 minute, 5 minutes, 15 minutes, 30 minutes, or if you really want to do that risky save, 1 hour. So find one that matches your workflow. Oh, shoot. I actually missed one setting there. You have to enable autosave and then hit save, right? So it saves this as enabled. Now, in order for autosave to activate, it's like a traditional program. It's not like a video game where it does it without you having to kind of activate it. It's like Word or Photoshop. You have to save the initial thing one time. You have to name it. So in this case, I named this. I went, to File, Save As, and named it Ancient Cemetery. I noticed I saved that wrong, so could technically fix that, right? Save it in, let's go to damn repository, Mapmaker Monday, Ancient Cemetery. Notice there's autosaves in here adjacent to it. So as soon as I have the first save with the name, the autosave triggers, and it'll, at every 5 minutes, create an autosave right next to where the original save is, right in the same exact folder. So you essentially have to create the first save. After that, it will autosave quite fluidly, and very, very efficiently. And it doesn't really cause DA to slow down. In fact, I've noticed the more frequently you save, the better DA runs. It's when you don't save often that it actually gets a little clunky. So what you only have, basically, here, I'll open this up. So notice here, Ancient Cemetery autosave. So it created an autosave adjacent. At one point, I had actually loaded up the autosave as the main one. I just loaded up the map from that because I made a mistake, and then it actually created an autosave of the autosave. So it says Ancient Cemetery autosave. So really there only is the main save and a singular autosave that keeps overwriting itself. Does that make sense? So the autosave will keep overwriting itself unless you rename the map like a new thing. So if it went like Ancient Cemetery 1, then it'll start saving a new autosave off of Ancient Cemetery 1. But yeah, the autosave tool is very, very, very nice. It's good to have. Very helpful. Highly recommended if you're in a big workflow for maps, because it's very easy to, forget to save after your initial save. So start your map, name it, save it, once, and then the autosave will have your back the rest of the time. Does the autosave update as soon as it starts the timer as soon as you open the map? So if the map's already named, it starts the timer as soon as you open the map, but otherwise it starts the timer as soon as you name it the first time. So it's kind of like Office, like Word. Word won't autosave unless you have the file, like the page named something. Does that make sense? Because it won't know what to... Windows needs like a name for the autosave to work. Does that make sense? It's like it needs to know what to name it. I guess, if that makes any sense. Yeah, exactly. So, okay, that's a great example. So depending on your autosave interval, you can actually do yourself some harm. Like it's usually not the case with most people. Most people aren't talking to a stream while they're making their maps and get distracted and are showing things off to people. Usually you just dive in and get to work, right? So really try to find an autosave interval that matches your workflow. If it's at 1 minute and you're in a map and you're changing things and, doing stuff that maybe you didn't care, want there, it can override things in the autosave quite frequently. You know what I mean? So a 5-minute interval is nice, so it gives you a backup every few minutes, but it's not like overriding your work constantly. I'm not sure what you mean, Shlomo. You mean like this, where it says autosave on it? I mean, a dot autosave could be any type of things. It could be for any program you have on your computer. However, if it says the underscore autosave and it's adjacent to your map, then it's definitely our autosaves, and it's just a DAM file. It's the exact same file, just copied and named with an autosave on it. So that's what it would be. Map name underscore autosave.dam. It's not a .autosave file, it's a .dam still. Like, right, Leo? That's funny. I guess we could put some, more graves along this. I could do a couple mausoleums and a few graves. Maybe some plants, trees. Just trying to figure out how to fill in these spaces a little bit. This tree. Put it behind here. Get a little bit larger. Raise it up a bit. Near the end of the map, it helps cover some of the weirdness. Grab one of these kind of more. Put that tree there. Happy little tree. Hey, Stratus, how are you? Welcome, and happy holidays to you, my friend. Yeah, I'm taking Christmas Eve, Christmas Day, New Year's Eve, New Year's Day off for sure. I had a couple weeks off, like a few months ago, so I'm kind of like, you know, the most recent person to have had a vacation on the team. And so I'm going to be the only one in office most of the holidays, but I'm still taking my regular days off and then a couple extra for the holiday day, like for Christmas and New Year's. So I will be around to answer questions and provide support, you know, especially we'll have a lot of people getting DA, new people to our community, getting it for Christmas or during the sale. So I want to make sure someone's around to answer their questions. So just letting anyone know, I will be doing some extra bonus streams over the next week and a half until the sale ends. And I'll be available through Discord. So if you join our Discord, it's a public Discord, and anyone can join, whether you own a copy of Dungeon Alchemist or not. And the Discord is a great place to meet other, you know, like-minded GMs and map makers. But also, it's a great place to get support. We offer several channels dedicated to support. So you can drop in, ask a question, or make a thread for a support thread, and you'll get guidance from myself, other staff members, moderators, and even, you know, really passionate and informative community members. This is true. You would definitely end up on Santa's and your DM's nice list if your DM is gifted a copy of Dungeon Alchemist. Like, if they don't already have one already, I think you could really, you know, it really goes a long way, I'm sure. I know they would love it. Let's see here. I was going to shrink a little token and put it in there, but probably shouldn't do that. What can I put in here? Some jewelry. Oh, yeah, we need some urns. Let's look at some urns. Put a couple urns in there. Funerary urns. Realm Walker. By the way, Realm Walker, I've really been enjoying your maps as of late. All the stuff you've been sharing on like Twitter and on Reddit. So just keep up the good work, my friend. Here, let's pull up another clip of some upcoming features that some of you may have missed. So in our next update, we're going to have ceilings, right? Roofs, finally. This will be the first iteration of ceilings, so I wouldn't expect, you know, tons of dome or like angled ceilings. It'll likely be flat as we're working into multi-level being a part of this update as well. So multi-floor buildings, castles, towers, etc. will be in the next update. So one thing I will want to point out, the walls are getting kind of a lift, if you will. An extension. If you look in this paused clip, you can see from here up is a riser. This is what happens when you add a ceiling. Now it puts like a bump up section, so now like things that were above the wall kind of breaking immersion, like windows and torches and stuff like these shields, no longer doing that. I mean, the windows, if Roll20 now supports that type of dynamic lighting with windows, we may be able to update our export script to support that. But for right now, last I checked, I don't think it was dynamic for that. But the windows, you should be able to, players should be able to see through them, I'm pretty sure. Almost 100%. I mean, should be able to do that already, I thought. Maybe I'm wrong. Gotcha. So, ceilings, right? Big deal. Oops. Let me show you a couple other clips here. Gotcha, because you could open it and at least see through. So you mark it as a door. So multi-level structures will be in the next update. which is a very, very cool new thing. Essentially, you'll be able to generate multiple floors using the room generation and have it autofill it, or you could just generate it blank and fill it yourself. These new little floating lights that you're seeing, also a new feature in the next update, a quality of life add-on. They're called abstract lights. And while they're visible while you're building, and you could set their color and are aware of their existence, when you export, that light housing is no longer visible, just the light it generates. So it'll generate light, but it'll be an invisible light source to help add, extra lighting to the room or to the map where needed without, having to take any unnecessary steps. You hide the lamp by shrinking it or, using one from the workshop. So yes, this will help tremendously to that end. Honestly, Leo, it is kind of like a video game. I mean, a lot of people have said Dungeon Alchemist. I mean, at the end of the day, we are a map maker and immersion tool, but it does feel kind of like Sims meets Baldur's Gate to a degree, right? Like, you're making maps for your D&D campaigns, and it can be very fun and cathartic for people. I really enjoy making maps. It's just a fun way to unwind. Even if no one ever sees the map, I like it, Yeah, we're talking first quarter 2025. That is the best date we can offer right now, and I mean, that's still subject to change. I mean, it could completely change. But at least, we have something on the horizon. Diggity Dane, thank you so much for that follow. Welcome to the Dam Fam, or the Dam Nation, or the Damily. We now have 3 different names for our community. I'll let you pick which one you want to be. Are you part of the Dam Nation? Are you part of the Dam Fam, or the Damily? I mean, technically you could play chess in DA, yeah. Locally. I guess even online you could too, with Steam Share. Because you could share it with one person, and that's all you need to play a game of chess. Damnation? Cool. So, when you save a map in Dungeon Alchemist, if you're not aware of this, Dane, it's saved as a .dam file. That's our proprietary map format. It stands for Dungeon Alchemist Map. It's essentially a text file that tells Dungeon Alchemist where all of your assets are located and what placement there are they activated, what color they're set to, etc. So we lean into that a little bit. We have Dam streams, Dam challenges, the Dam Nation, etc. Oh, you have Alchemist? Nice. Well, that's also informative to anyone here who may not know that already. Oh yeah, Foundry and virtual tabletop integration in general is really nice. I think it's a big time saver for most online DMs, if you use a virtual tabletop, Dungeon Alchemist's integration with, the big 3, as I call them, Roll20, Fantasy Grounds, and Foundry, is not to be underestimated. Because those tools, I mean, they're designed for online play, to facilitate online play, give line of sight, fog of war, all those things, and then our maps seamlessly integrate, in most cases, to them. I.e., you make a map and you export it for, say, any of those 3 tools. All these walls, windows, and doors can be present in the export data. You use FGU? That's nice, Dane. How do you like it? Yeah, Jumpgate is pretty impressive. Honestly, I'm glad to see Roll20 is going in the right direction, for sure. What do you mean, Leo? What kind of filters and effects? Coco, the new update will include multi-level and roofing, a limited version of roofing. It'll most likely just be flat roofs. However, I do think the devs have added a few object roofs that are like domes and kind of like cones and stuff like that to help supplement it. Leo, I definitely want to answer your question. So if you want to kind of elaborate on what types of effects you're looking for, because we do have like a whole string of effects available that you can add into maps through this panel. All sorts of different things: electric arcs, fireflies, will-o-wisps, steam, fog, smoke, fire, etc. And we add new effects all the time. Pretty much every update gets new effects. Some objects are animated in their own right and have effects on them, like there's some gloves that have this like electrical stuff, these Thunderstrike gloves. Now that being said, I definitely want to make sure I answer your question more fully and understand it to the best extent I can. That you can get around corners? What do you mean, Dane? Okay, let's add some more graves this way. I think I'll just put a few small graves. Oh, you know what? No, I got distracted. I need to fill these out. Let's keep doing this. So we'll put some of these things. What are they called? Canopic jars. Canopic. Not sure how it's pronounced, but we're going with it. So, textures on the current assets. So there is something in the new update that might interest you, though I don't have any, like, I have one clip of it, or like one image of it that showcases it. There's a new tool in the next update that is essentially called the stamp tool. And it allows you, Leo, to take a texture and kind of paint it over multiple surfaces and different angles. So in this case, it's a moss texture. There is many different instances of this that have been shown in our Discord. Let me see if I can find one more here. Wim likes to share extra ones in the conversation areas that people might miss if they're not paying attention. Let me see if I can find it. There's one. Oh, this is the one. Okay, these are great. Let me just save these. Don't know why it didn't have them in here. I thought I had saved them, but I guess I didn't. Unfortunately, he only demoed these inside of a building, which it kind of really doesn't fully demonstrate what it can do. But like here, as you can see, like these little, you know, the tally marks, this is great immersion tool to show like how long someone's been in a prison cell, you know? And so this is kind of an abstract stamping tool. This will be in the update. Now, I don't know if you'll be able to make custom stamps right out the gate, but I do know there will be a whole assortment of stamps included. I'm hoping you'll be able to import like custom PNGs and stuff and textures. But right here, snow, for instance, this is not possible in DA right now. Just a small patch of snow in a room. You'd either have to do all snow or no snow. So stuff like this, imagine using the same thing on trees. You could disable the snow weather on a map, right? So you just have a snow biome, but no snow weather. And you could paint snow patches on the top of the trees. So the tops of them have a bit of snow, but that's it. So it's been like melting. You know what I mean? This is, or even little paths of it and patches of it on the ground. So it looks like it's melted, mixed in with it. You know what I mean? So I do think this stamp tool would kind of bridge that gap and allow for some of these things. But I don't know if there will be custom textures right out the gate. Though with time, it would make sense for us to allow you to import a custom texture to use. You know what I mean? So, fingers crossed. Let me show you a couple more clips. I know right now one of our devs is working on a mass exporter tool to help supplement the multi-level aspects of DA that we're integrating, because multi-level, each level is going to export as its own map, as its own JPEG or own video, to help offer better integration with more VTTs at the same time. We're keeping it as simple as possible, so each level will be its own export. And so let's say you're exporting as JPEGs and you have 10 floors. That's a lot of exports for a single map. Now, let's say you want snow and no snow, and you want 72 and 150 DPI, and you want an animated and a non-animated, and you want night, morning, afternoon, evening, time of days, all those things, where I'm hoping we'll get the mass exporter to include all of these checkboxes that you can tick and then export, and it'll just kind of do it in a batch. You can kind of do its thing and or let it run, and it'll export every level and every version of every level until it's all done. So, Leo, essentially, we plan to allow you to do that. So, like Monk's Active Tiles, essentially, each of these floors would be their own scene, right? So, floor 1 would be scene, floor 2 would be a scene. And then Monk's Active Tiles would allow you to transition between them if there's like a ladder or a hatch or a staircase. If your players get to the stair, it automatically loads the new scene. There is another module, I think, called Floors. We don't offer any integration directly with modules, but this system, to keep it simple, you know, each level is its own map that would be set up as a scene in your virtual tabletop of choice. That would allow that to work. Oh, I agree, Mondu. It's going to be a completely different Dungeon Alchemist when this comes out. But yeah, you'll be able to do balconies, vaulted rooms. You know, there's an outdoor balcony, an indoor mezzanine. You could even extend this all the way out to the wall and just vault this room, have an extra tall room that goes up and then has a ceiling. You know what I mean? So, Mondu, I've been working on a couple of clips, just little teasers, and I'm going to be sharing those over the break a little bit to kind of fill in the gaps, because Wim will be gone. Wim likes to share teasers more, like, well, okay, I don't like to step on Wim's toes, and he loves to share teasers, and if he's already shared one during the day, I'm not going to share another one. You know, I may do something you know, different, share some other content. Me either, I can't wait. By the way, this is early alpha footage, but it kind of demonstrates how you'll be able to transition between the floors quite easily. This is alpha footage from the dev build of our next update. So this was done with tooling that isn't available in Dungeon Alchemist yet. However, you can definitely build multi-level by hand inside of Dungeon Alchemist right now. It just is a lot more work than this update will offer. Essentially, if you disable collisions in Dungeon Alchemist under the object panel, you can raise objects up and down, you can resize them and kind of merge them closer together than normal, and that allows you to essentially build multiple levels by hand using structural objects from the object menu. There is thousands of objects that will work for building, including a whole set of walls that can be moved, rotated, raised, and lowered. But this currently, as I said, this is footage from alpha build from our dev test. Now, this map here, this one that I'm working on, the multi-level in this I did by hand. This like tower, this is all stock objects in Dungeon Alchemist. Nothing here was done with stuff from the workshop or anything that you don't have access to. This is in the current build, the public build. Yes, it is, Rigel. So like I said before, you can do this right now in your current build of DA, but it is a lot more work. You have to go into the object panel, disable collisions. Once you do so, objects can be raised and up and down. So at this point, I found a wall that matched the structure of this building, and I started building like an offshoot building. The base floor was built in DA using the room tool, but everything above this wall, all the windows, these stairs, those are all just objects. It was pretty easy to build this because most everything in here just kind of snaps in place. These are wooden platforms that are available under objects, structural. There's stairs in here. There are stone, metal, all sorts of different platform types, round, square, masonry, walls. Thousands of objects in here that allow you to build multi-level by hand. However, it is definitely a more taxing and time-consuming. So I would really only tackle it if you want to learn it right away. That being said, in the next few months, or like, Q1 2025, so very shortly, we'll have an update that will include multi-level in the room tool. So essentially, you'll be able to generate multi-level structures with a few clicks. Okay, back to this. Let's see. Oh, Elbu. I mean, to each their own. I just like me as a player, I'd be bummed if my DM took like a massive break to just wait for an update for a map maker. You know what I mean? Like, I know it's cool getting all these new things and stuff, but at the same time, it's like, unless your players were all cool with the break, it could be a risky play. You know what I mean? I just would hate for you, to lose players or they lose interest and stuff like that. Yeah, see, the thing is like it waiting and waiting. It's like, yeah, you'll get this perfect thing later, right? But at the same time, you're putting everything on hold as a result. So, just I've definitely seen some campaigns grind to a halt because, the DM wanted to wait for, a book or a map pack or an update or, you know what I mean? Waiting for a new Foundry update, etc. But yeah, I mean, you could always divert your players to somewhere less detailed for a bit and then bring them back, to a more multi-leveled area later. Smaller towns, little rural areas, etc. But I won't tell you how to run your campaign by any means, Elbu. It's your table. You can do whatever you want. And if your players all came to an agreement, I mean, by any means, that's perfect. I just at the end of the day, I personally would not be happy if my campaign was put on hold for an extended amount of time just to kind of wait for something that really isn't necessary at that point in time. And, I guess to your players, the opinion could be different, but see, that's the thing. If you sat down with them and then, like, they all were like, yeah, let's take a holiday break or something, that's fine. But unilaterally just being like, hey, I'm going to take, like, a 3-month break while we wait for this next update, Who knows? What if the update gets delayed or pushed back? I just would hate for your campaign to be kind of on a hiatus just because of us is all. And again, I hope that doesn't come across as me being like, oh, that's bad for your campaign. I just, from my experience and my personal preference, definitely would prefer if that was avoided. Breaks definitely need to happen for the DM and for the party from time to time, but I think it's a good idea to, you know, make sure everyone's on the same page. As long as that's the case, you're golden. You won't have a problem at all. Do we need an arc somewhere here? Close your eyes. They're not digging in the right place. I know I'm just filling this with like the most random stuff, but that's kind of the point. They may have not had anything for them, like just a relic or something that they cared about, or, you know what I mean? Yeah, I think a pipe in one of these would be a good idea. This one's usually easier to see. What else can we add in these spaces? Yeah, a book. I mean, I think we already have a Necronomicon on the map, and I don't need two. I remember we put one over here for fun. We could put it somewhere else. This book right here would look really good. A little tome. Got a few other books in here we could try. Definitely need to fill in some of these earlier spaces, so let's try some of these books. Yeah, an amulet. I have put a few like little like jewelry things, you know, goblet. I'm definitely gonna put a few different things throughout. I do love the suggestions though, so keep them coming. So we got this amulet of table, and then this amulet of Inos. Or Inos, is that what that is? So we'll try that one. And then I did put one of these little lockets right down here. Ooh, a scroll. Good idea. We could do one that's all bound up like this. So we could turn it this way or long or leave it at an angle. I kind of like the angle. But I'm open to feedback. I like the scroll idea. Let's do maybe one other style in here somewhere. Put one of the earlier ones. Oh, we got a space over here. So, we got some rings. Ooh, a tiara. Let's do this tiara right here. We could put it right next to the king's crown, though. That's a good idea. We do have a picture in the locket right here, but yeah, that's a good idea. Let's see if we have a frame that... I wish we had one that was just like a standalone picture frame, like one you put on a table. You know, like the little stand-up ones with like the prop-up back. That would be great. Hey, Diggity Dane, thank you again for that follow. Hey, see you later, Eric. We'll chat later. Actually, I will be pinging you over the holidays a little bit just to chat session-wise. But... Hey, see you later, my friend. Right, Setch? Setting myself up for disaster here. Getting really good, though. Getting mostly decorated over here. I could leave a few empty. They don't all need to be full. Just here and there. In fact, I could probably move like one of these skulls over to this side. Really lacking the skulls over here. All right. We've got about 10-15 minutes left before the stream is about to wrap up. So if you have any last-minute questions, suggestions, feedback, or needs for support, now is the time to ask. So feel free to make sure you do that before we wrap up the stream so you don't miss out on your opportunity to get your questions answered. Trying to decide what other things to put in these. A couple more urns on this side. You know, instead of this bag, I'll do the bag of teeth, actually. Kind of, we could do the jar. A little more morbid. This is all we could find of the priests from the... Oh, Alexander, that's a great question, actually. So, Alexander on TikTok, are you still there? Because if you are, I want to make sure I answer this question for you. Sorry, I didn't notice that. As soon as we get a confirmation that he is still there, then I will answer this question. I mean, not all these are full either. I didn't really decorate all of them. But I do like that this one's more fleshed out. Need to do this one too now. Just reminded myself. Let's hurry and finish this. Noticed if you get that skull too small, the textures disappear from it. Not sure why. Ah, got you. I'm sorry. Dang it, I missed it. My TikTok chat was frozen. I refreshed it and it popped back down. That's a bummer. Hopefully they pop back in. Thank you, TikTok, for all the likes. Much appreciated. We're up to 1,500 likes on TikTok. Y'all are awesome. Appreciate you so much. Decide what to put in here. Helmet would be a good one. In fact, that's a really good one. Surprised I haven't done more of those. Put some in like one of these empty ones. Right here. Mace is kind of big to fit, but yeah, I mean, like, the helmets are nice just because they're, like, a nice size. Put a canopic jar on either side. Right here. Here. And let's put some jewelry. Bracelet like this, maybe. Hey Kaiser, how you doing, buddy? Excuse me. Okay. Got a good assortment of stuff. I was gonna put some light throughout here, but probably like posts and stuff and like little lamps, you know, things like that, candles on graves. And an oil lamp like that adds some decent light over here. But I was planning to do some of these posts through here after I kind of get it all figured out. Once I have like the kind of the whole, you know, path laid out. Dang, can't rotate that. That sucks. A pile of dirt over here. We could put a bread peel in it because that looks like a shovel. Sink it down in a little bit. Okay, a good amount of stuff added today. Excuse me. Could use one. Matches this grave path, which I'm thinking I'm gonna put one. Wish there was just no snapping. Like, this thing is nuts. This is a little bit more freedom here. But one right there is like a freshly dug grave. That, or I could put that in one of these spots somewhere. If it'll fit. Does line up there. Freshly dug grave. I like that. We got a fresh one. Another one of these bread peels here. Maybe a little barrel here, and we can put some dirt in it. Really get swifty with this. That's cool. We're adding lots of little details, and I love it. So, how y'all feeling about the additions we added today? What is that emoji? I can't tell. Hey Vance, it is looking good, isn't it? It's coming along. We're making some serious progress with this build today. What I think I'm gonna do is do some more like kind of mausoleum type stuff on this opposite side here. Something like this. A little paver. There. It's not even, I feel like we're like only at like, I guess 2/3. We're getting there though. It's getting some really good progress. Yeah, it's just over halfway, I'd say. Maybe between 50 and 60%. I think after I finish this section, I'm going to build this road out and do the caretakers area. And then we'll do the final graves. Because I'm kind of just doing it a section at a time as we push across the map. But yeah, the map is definitely getting all sorts of progress. From just starting in this corner here, right? And then now it's become, you know, quite an extensive build. There's still a lot of little details and things to be added, but for now it is looking really good. Yeah, what I have done is really detailed, right? Exactly, like all these little paths and gardens and statues and moss, and I still need to do a lot of finish work around the map, but so far what we have done is really good. Okay. Let us save. And I kind of have at least a little bit lined up for next week. I know where I'm heading with this. Is right here. I'm going to finish out this area. Add some more kind of mausoleum stuff down here. Plants, decorations. This area, I need to think on this. I do have, you know, suggestions. A pond, obviously, from Mondu. There was a suggestion of a seating area with like paths and benches and stuff. I like that, but I'm trying to figure out how to do it. I could just fence it all off, right? And then put a little seating area and maybe a table. An obelisk wouldn't be bad, actually. I don't mind obelisks. I think we put one on the map over here in this fancier area. These are like really nice graves, so... It does look like it could be another pizza, huh? But look at this cut into it. I don't like it. It would have to be like right here we make the pizza too. I don't know. I'll think about it. I'll mull over it for between now and next week. So can I just say I had an amazingly fun time with y'all today. I appreciate everyone that tuned in for Mapmaker Monday. And if you aren't aware, every Monday we have a stream like this. Same damn time, same damn channel. You can tune in every Monday and watch me build a map in real time. You can ask questions, you know, leave suggestions and feedback for myself and the dev team. Additionally, you can get support in real time in AMA format during the stream. So we'll stop what we're doing and answer your questions if you need any guidance or assistance. So that's a really major benefit of these live streams, is you can tune in and get help from somebody who has thousands of hours in Dungeon Alchemist, hands-on experience, map making, etc. So I just want to thank you all for being here, for participating in this community initiative. Our next stream is actually this Saturday. We normally have a stream every Wednesday in our Discord, but it's canceled because it's Christmas. Our next stream will be this Saturday, which is the Dam Challenge. So if any of you are wanting to participate in the Dam Challenge, your time is running out. You have between now and the end of day in your time zone on the 27th to submit a map. Remember, use Frozen as inspiration, and make sure you follow the rules pinned in the Dam Challenge channel in our Discord in order to qualify. We'll be showing off maps from the Dam Challenge on that stream on the 28th. And then we'll be back next Monday on the 30th for another Mapmaker Monday. So anyway, those are the next two streams. Otherwise, I might do a bonus stream between now and then, like an extra, just random bonus stream as a surprise. You know, offer some support for our new community members, and just be around generally to hang out and, you know, vibe. Otherwise, I hope you have an amazing holiday week, and... enjoy yourself. Please be safe. You know, use precaution while traveling, and make sure you, party in moderation. Thank you, everyone, for being here. Again, my name is Mac, the community manager for Dungeon Alchemist. Dungeon Alchemist is a map-making tool available on Steam. We actually offer a free demo where you can try out Dungeon Alchemist before you buy, see if it's your style, see how well it runs on your computer before you invest any, money or serious time into it. The demo is a modest 6.7 gigs, so you don't need to, fill up your entire computer just to try it. It allows you to check out the forest biome and build a tavern. Other than that, Dungeon Alchemist is on sale right now, 20% off through the Steam Winter Sale. I believe that ends January 2nd. So make sure if you're looking at Dungeon Alchemist, you're kind of on the fence, now is the best time to buy, because you get the absolute best deal you can on Dungeon Alchemist due to the sale. Anyway, thank you everyone for participating in the stream. We'll see you Saturday, or unless there's a bonus stream between now and then, a little cheeky bonus stream. Anyway, thank you everyone for being here. My name is Mac, the CM for Dungeon Alchemist. We'll see you next time. I give a damn. Mac out. Bye. We're going to run a quick little Dungeon Alchemist themed ad, and then we're going to end the stream, okay? Thank you everyone for being here. Appreciate you.
You stand before the long, dark road to the fabled realm of Goyak-Ta, and before—
What do we see?
I don't know, a goblin.
I kill him.
But before she does, I, Gilliam of Firth, demand to know the goblin's name.
Hi, my name is Woblin.
Where do you live there, Woblin?
I don't think that's relevant.
Well, but I, Gilliam of Firth, demand to seek the goblin's abode.
Clever. Find family. Kill entire bloodline. I like it.
Seriously, we're doing this? Okay, well, won't be needing that anymore, will I?
Ever get caught by your players with your pants down? Dungeon Alchemist lets you create wonderful maps for any encounter in seconds.
Oh, Woblin, that's a very impressive cheese collection you've got there.
Yeah, it is quite impressive, yes. But you know what's more impressive? This map I have to the
Fabled realm of Goyak-Ta. Please take it and leave. Close the door behind you.
Mr. Woblin, I cannot help but notice that you have a secret tunnel underneath your cabinet. Care to explain?
Download Dungeon Alchemist, the AI-powered map maker, on Steam today.
Thank you everyone for watching. Hope you have a happy holiday, safe travels, and fun with your friends and family. Enjoy all your food and gifts and whatever you're doing. Until next time, this upcoming Saturday with the Damn Challenge, I have some happy mapping. We'll see you around. Back out. Bye.